All right, ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you to the Steve Malzberg Show. It's Thursday. That's one day before Friday, and we are coming to you from our New York City studios. We have a lot to get to. Dick Morris joins us momentarily. Curt Schilling will be here. That's right, the Curt Schilling, and a lot more. First of all, the three polls that we start every day with, and I'm not putting them up because they're all the same every day. They just shift a half a point here and there. The LA Times, Investors Business Daily, and the other poll, the Rasmussen poll, they're all Hillary won, Trump won, half tied, whatever. They remain basically the same. The other polls that came out yesterday, wide disparity, which are right, which are wrong, who knows? We'll talk to Dick Morris about all of that in a minute. I want you to hear something that Hillary said when she was Secretary of State. This is in 2010 on Russian television. This might actually be Hillary's success from her tenure as Secretary of State.
I think one of the best changes that each of us could entertain is looking toward the future instead of constantly in the rearview mirror. One of the fears that I hear from Russians is that somehow the United States wants Russia to be weak. That could not be farther from the truth. Our goal is to help strengthen Russia. We see Russia with the strong culture, with the incredible intellectual capital that Russia has, as a leader in the 21st century. And we sometimes feel like we believe more in your future than sometimes Russians do.
That's so nice. Did she push the restart button when she was saying that? Unfortunately, that was probably her only foreign policy success. Russia has gotten stronger under Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama, and that's not a good thing. That's a bad thing, and we're suffering the consequences of it right now. In fact, so much so that according to Donald Trump, if Hillary gets elected and institutes her policy for Syria, we could be in big trouble.
She has no plan for Syria, and look, with her you'll end up in World War III. She doesn't know what she's doing. So you're not fighting Syria anymore. You're fighting Syria, Russia, and Iran. We should not be focusing on Syria. You'll end up, with her plan, you'll end up in World War III with Syria. Steve, you're going to end up in World War III over Syria if we listen to Hillary Clinton. She's incompetent.
Yeah, and, you know, she's talked about a no-fly zone in Syria, and the Russians don't want it. So what is she going to do? Unilaterally impose a no-fly zone in Syria? And then the Russians break that zone? Is she going to have those Russian planes shot down? What do you think will happen after that? Is it really worth it? Is it worth a war to have a no-fly zone unilaterally and risk a confrontation with Russia? When who are we defending over there? Yeah, let's make a safe haven. I think Russia would agree to a safe haven with a no-fly zone, but that's not what Hillary's talking about. It's not good. It is not good. Donald Trump also said something else in that same interview, I believe. Watch.
If the leaders were helping me, we couldn't lose this election. It would be an impossibility.
If the leaders were helping me, we couldn't lose this election. Now, how much would an active Paul Ryan, an active Mitch McConnell, an active Republican Party spending money on commercials so far, or at least last look they hadn't, how much of a difference would that make? I don't know. I don't know. But I'll tell you, it has hurt him. It's given the media ammunition, the Clinton campaign ammunition, at the very least, by people like Paul Ryan and McConnell and others saying, I have nothing to do with Trump, staying away from Trump. I mean, that's unheard of. Just unheard of. And so Trump is right. Now, if Trump doesn't run commercials, again, with Jesse Jackson praising him from the 90s, which would have a devastating effect on the black vote, and other commercials. I don't know what Hillary's group said about Catholics. If you're not going to run them, Donald, you're leaving a lot on the table, an awful lot on the table, and it's not good. It's not good. Now, Jason Chaffetz, congressman from Utah, who originally said, I have daughters. I'm not voting for Trump. I can't do it. I have daughters. Changed his tune today with a tweet. Let's take a look at the tweet. I will not defend or endorse Donald Trump, But, he says, I am voting for him. Hillary Rodham Clinton is that bad. Hillary Rodham Clinton is bad for the USA. Well, you know, I guess that's better than nothing. But he could have just said, you know, I have a lot of differences with Donald Trump, but blah, blah, blah. Instead of saying I'm not endorsing him, I don't like him. You see, that's the bad part. That's the bad part. But I guess it's better than nothing. I don't know. We'll find out, I guess. Now, all this brouhaha yesterday, media created, as most of this junk is. Donald Trump went to the opening of his hotel in Washington, D.C. He wasted valuable time when he could have been in swing states. Dana Bash caught up with him at the hotel and asked him the question, and good for Donald. Watch this.
To people who say you're taking time out of swing states to go do this, you say?
I say the following. You have been covering me for the last long time. I did yesterday 8 stops and 3 major speeches, and I've been doing this for weeks straight. I left there for an hour and a half. I'm going to North Carolina right now. Then I'm going to Florida. I'm going up to New Hampshire. For you to ask me that question is actually very insulting, because Hillary Clinton does 1 stop and then she goes home and sleeps. And yet you'll ask me that question. I think it's a very rude question, to be honest with you. Insulting and rude. Good for Donald. That's insane. He did 8 events the day before. From there, he was going to North Carolina, Florida, and then up to New Hampshire. And she said, why are you here?